Good evening. I'm Zenobia Dallas, the chair of the City of Saginaw Planning Commission. This is a regular meeting of the City Planning Commission. Public comments are permitted during the designated time on the agenda. This allows the public to speak to the Planning Commission about issues of general concern in the community. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the staff member for the record. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole. Remarks should not be addressed to individual commission members, city staff, or members of the audience. Speakers may ask general or specific questions, and those questions will be referred to city staff for appropriate follow-up. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once. Speakers should limit their remarks to business within the jurisdiction of the commission. The public hearing is to address the commission with regard to the subject of the relevant hearing and not to speak on other topics. When the petition, special land use, or relevant site plan approval request in which you are interested is called, please be prepared to speak. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the staff member for the record. The applicant whose application is the subject of the public hearing or their designated representative shall be the main presenter and will be allowed 10 minutes for their presentation. After the appellant's presentation, others may comment. Again, those speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole and not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Each additional speaker commenting on the subject of the public hearing will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers may only speak once on that public hearing. This meeting is videotaped, so it's important that only one person speak at a time and the audience observe respect for the speaker. An affirmative vote of the majority of the members present is necessary to grant a petition, special land use, or site plan approval. Recommendations on all petitions, special land uses, and site plans made by the Planning Commission are then forwarded to City Council for disposition. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Staff Golden, will you take the roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Zwerko is excused. Commissioner Dallas.
Present.
Commissioner Hanley.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Milne.
Present.
Commissioner Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Nash.
Present.
Commissioner Ostash.
Present.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from April 26, 2022. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from April 26, 2022. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda of June 28th, 2022. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Thank you. The agenda is approved. The next item on our agenda is the public comment. Again, this is the time for public comments, which allows the public to speak to the Planning Commission about issues of general concern in the community. This is not the public hearing component of the meeting. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the staff member for the record. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole. Remarks shall not be addressed to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Speakers may ask general or specific questions, and those questions will be referred to city staff for appropriate follow-up. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once. Speakers should limit their remarks to business within the jurisdiction of the commission. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the commission about issues of general concern in the community? Is there anyone here who wishes to address the commission about general concern issues in the community? Is there anyone here who wishes to address the commission on general issues in the community? Seeing none, next item on our agenda is new business. We now open the public hearing for the items listed on the agenda. Remember, the public hearing is to address the commission with regard to the subject of the relevant hearing and not to speak on other topics. When the petition, special land use, or site plan of approval request in which you are interested is called, please be prepared to speak. Once you're recognized, give your name and address to the staff member for the record. This public hearing is for case J22-0141, special use permit for proposed event center within Riverside Plaza at 264 West Genesee. Is the applicant or a representative present? Please state your name and address, and you have 10 minutes for your presentation.
Gloria Williams at 264 West Genesee Avenue of Saginaw, Michigan, 48602. I'm here for the special use for a event center to do weddings, church events, baby showers, and et cetera. I'm really a little nervous, so I don't know what else that I can say. So I plan to actually try to reach out to the community, especially smaller churches that's not able to accommodate seating and having their events at their churches, or weddings and receptions. Children that have no places to, or the places are way too much for them to be able to throw their open houses. So that's my agenda to go for and aim towards.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? You may sit down.
Okay.
Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case?
Chair, is that addressed to the public or?
To the public right now. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? I'm sorry, Staff Golden.
I have a letter that I received regarding this. This is from R&R Riverview Limited, Bonnie Reinberg. I'm writing this letter as it relates to the above referenced public hearing. I'm the property owner of Riverview Plaza, which is the location for the event center. I've had the pleasure of working with Kareem Boehm for the past 3.5 years as both a tenant in the center, as well as my local liaison for the property. His vision has helped me to attract support, as well as local entrepreneurs, to help re-tenant the center into a community plaza, providing both service-oriented and retail tenants necessary for the revitalization of this neighborhood. Ms. Williams, the owner of Platinum Event Center, is a local entrepreneur who has been curated events in Saginaw. She was aware of the need for a cost-effective venue in the city after being called upon to handle events for local residents who had to leave the city to hold not only weddings and retirement parties, but community-oriented events such as meetings and community gatherings. Her vision has taken a long, dark family dollar and turned it into a beautiful and welcoming venue. Her passion includes community involvement, involving possible events in conjunction with child care center, community resource center, and local agencies in hopes of creating a collaboration between herself, the venue, the community, the plaza, and other current and future tenants. This collaboration will help to provide jobs, necessities for the area, and will allow me as an owner to attract more tenants, allowing for more improvements to the plaza. I've asked Mr. Bowen to address the board at the hearing on behalf of Ms. Williams, the property, as well as the current tenants. I believe he is the singular person who understands the goals of all the parties, including the neighborhood, and can best explain this vision and how it can be realized.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Commissioners, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So move. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Public hearing is closed. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve case J 22-0141, special use permit for a proposed event center within Riverside Plaza at 264 West Genesee?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and second to approve the case. Are there any questions? Yes.
From the letter Mr. Golan just read into the record, I think I'm going to address the questions to Mr. Golan. On the application, and it sounds like from the letter, the applicant wants to meet the demand for this type of service within the community. Is there any other supporting documentation like market research, or there seems to be a reference to other event centers and the pricing? What documentation is there to back up the need expressed here, when my experience would be we've had a number of these type of event centers not be successful in the Saginaw community. So I wondered if this one varies by being larger, different amenities, and what specific need is being addressed.
I am not aware of any market studies in that regard. In this case, we're really just working, dealing with the plan, the site itself, and whether or not it has any impact on the neighborhood.
Well, the reason I ask it is that's the way the appellant asked the appeal to be granted, meet the demand for this type of service. So I just wondered, what is the backing for that statement, meet the demand? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me say this. I've been to several affairs that Ms. Williams has been involved in, and in terms of speaking, and I know he asked Bob, I know you did, John. However, I've been to her affairs, and they've been nice affairs. We don't really have planner, or a place you can go that's reasonable without paying thousands of dollars. And so, I guess for me, the event center is a start to do other things. And we keep saying we want to bring Saginaw back to life. We got to start somewhere. And so, in my opinion, in seeing the work and the people that I've seen her do work for, there was no rowdiness, no fighting, no any of that. And it was business casual. It was just like me going to the temple or me going to Horizon. She had, and I'm not sure if it was her that had it, but I've seen security there. So for me, I mean, I just wanted to put that in because John asked the question, was there a need? No, I don't know a lot of buildings that do this, and some of them that do it, I wouldn't go to. But where she's located is in a central location space, and I don't know if she does, but I've been in there with Kareem, and Kareem is an upstanding young man who is trying to help us bring the city back.
Thank you. Any other comments from commissioners? Yes.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I'm going to piggyback on what Mayor Brenda Moore was just saying about Kareem and the stuff that he does in the community. So I was excited to hear that part of the presentation, that the letter that you read. Being a resident of the city for like 20 years, I've watched that particular plaza lose business. And so that's kind of its current state. So I'm going to applaud you for actually wanting to take a step forward and try and put a little life back over there. My niece just recently had a shower, and this would have been a perfect spot for her because she had at a church. It was actually too big. But going even further to make a comment on what you're trying to do here for the city of Saginaw, the Lee Mansion is another perfect example, right? So that's a small venue where pop-ups can come in, and it's very economical for them to rent the space. And now I even see a lot of activity at the mansion on 633 South Washington. So I just want to say thank you. I wish you good luck. And you never know where this can go and how it can expand for that area. So, thank you.
I have a couple of questions, so I'd like a motion to go out of the regular order of business.
So moved.
Support.
So moved and seconded to go out of the regular order of business. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you. Could you come back to the podium, please? I have a couple of questions for you. Number one, what are your hours of operation?
My operation for business will be from 9 till 12. It
Midnight.
depends on the venue, the events. Like for weddings, I go till 12.
Okay, so every day of the week?
No, for Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays.
The
I am
weekends.
doing like more of weddings or whatever, baby showers, different things like that. I have been asked for different things like from the churches to be able to come in and where they don't have these spaces, like a pastor came in and he was like, can I rent out a little couple, different things like that.
So would you be open on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday?
Yes,
What hours on those days?
from 9 to, between 9
Same
to.
thing, 9 to
yes,
12?
Yes,
So 9 in the morning to midnight,
yes.
7 days a week?
No,
Okay.
no, I have to have my Sunday.
I'm just asking, that's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay. And then would there be any alcoholic beverages sold or,
No sold, no sold. As you notice, I know that churches don't do alcohol, but I don't know what weddings and receptions may want to do. So I am applying for, like a bartender's certificate. So when they do come in, someone can serve that.
thank you, I'm sorry. Any other questions of the appellant?
Just a quick comment while she's up there. And maybe this might be more of a question for the attorney, so I'll wait till we go back into session.
Okay.
Based on that last comment that you were just asking her. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I kind of mixed it up a little bit there. Thanks, sorry about that.
Do we have a motion to return to the regular order of business?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded to return to regular order of business. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you. Commissioners, are there any further questions?
Yeah. Commissioner Dallas just brought up the fact that she was referencing like alcohol for a wedding in this particular venue. I don't know what the legal ramifications are about that. I don't think you'd have a liquor license, but sometimes they actually can serve. I know there's insurance and bonds for like maybe like a hall that would serve. And I think those are things that can be attainable to help answer that question.
Yes, I imagine it would be something that might have to be some level of license through Liquor Control Commission, but the exact nature of that license, I couldn't answer offhand.
Okay, so if, now the hypothetical, the event is going on, if somebody walks in, you have to have your license and be able to present that to be, okay, thank you. Thank you.
One question, would this, given what we've heard about the possibility of alcohol being served, would that be a facility that would then require or have to comply with the camera ordinance as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's a different,
So we got
that
another,
wouldn't be part of the decision before.
no, I realize that, but it would be if we approve it, the applicant would then have to comply with those requirements as well. Has the applicant been contacted staff in order to find out all the requirements that would be necessary for the kind of facility that she is proposing?
Questions as to staff contact would have to be directed to staff.
Yes, she met with the clerk's office today and went through all of the requirements that are necessary for the business license, including getting approval by the police department for the cameras.
Thank you.
Okay, yes.
This is a question also for staff. This is my first meeting with Planning Commission. It's just kind of the order things happen in. The application for the special land use approval, that's obviously separate from any building permitting. Just from the discussion, has the site been prepared? Is any remodeling already done? It sounded like potential clients have been shown the site. So is it in the state it would be used in, and we're just approving the special use? Or does this precede building permits?
Well, if there's any changes that happen inside the building, they would have to be approved by the building inspection department. The fire marshal has already been through the building and everything checked out. In fact, I have the letter here from him. So the next step would be any remodeling would have to be approved by the building inspection department.
Okay, so our use approval precedes any possible remodeling required. This comes first. Okay, just wanted to be clear.
Commissioners, are there any further questions? Staff Golden, will you take a roll call vote, please?
Absolutely. Commissioner Dallas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Polak,
Yes.
Commissioner Milne,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Ostash.
Yes.
Oops, did I miss somebody? Sorry, Commissioner Nash.
Yes.
He was gonna forget you, Mr. Nash, Commissioner Nash.
The motion has passed.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is case J22-0144, site plan review for a special use permit for an adult use recreational marijuana grower processor establishment at 2700 Perkins Street. Is the applicant or representative present?
Yes,
Please
I
state
am.
your name and address, and you
Thank
have
you.
10 minutes for your presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Zach Learman. Address is 2494 Pembroke, Birmingham, Michigan. You'd like me to proceed?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, I represent Marley Crops. Marley Crops is proposing an adult use Class C marijuana grow establishment at 2700 Perkins. 2700 Perkins is zoned M1, light industrial, surrounded by B1 and other M1B zone properties. There's some residential properties to the west and north, but generally this is an industrial district. This location was once a food distribution warehouse. It's situated on the south side of Perkins. We are proposing a complete renovation and redevelopment of an existing vacant, dilapidated 79,000 square foot facility. This is a building that we want to turn into a state-of-the-art cultivation center, state-of-the-art marijuana cultivation center. So that will entail repairing the structure, cleaning interior partitions, brand new electrical and mechanical systems, repaving the driveway and the parking lot. We've applied for, Marley Crops LLC has applied for and received a City of Saginaw marijuana provisional license as well. This is really the next step and really the only step we need to go through at this point. Now, to go through some of the special land use considerations that I know everyone would be concerned with, Ms. Mayor, I heard you say it earlier, it's my proposal that this project would bring life to this area. It will promote the land in a socially and economically desirable manner that's harmonious to the local community. This building is in complete non-use. There's really no commercial presence in this area. The cultivation activities will be entirely indoors in a safe and controlled environment. It will be subject to extensive state and local regulations, security cameras, surveillance. To ensure there's no detrimental impact, there will be state-of-the-art HVAC and odor control measures taken, including carbon filtration systems, negative air pressure. This is all required by the CRA, but we are taking the extra step to make sure all of our measures are top of the line, so there's no negative impact to the community. Additionally, from the outside, there's going to be zero indication this is a cannabis cultivation operation. You won't know it. You will see a new redeveloped commercial building that was once just an empty old food storage warehouse. Now, this facility will also not be open to the public. And as stated, there will be no odor or light pollution. Now, the facility will create an estimated 20 to 35 local high-paying manufacturing jobs. We'll make it a point to focus on local Saginaw residents in our employee search. Now, purchase of the development in this facility, it's going to substantially increase the tax base for this property as well, which is good for the community. It's compatible with nearby uses as well. Being M1, it's properly zoned to be a cultivation center, and it's going to be designed in a manner that will protect the health and welfare of the community. We take that very seriously. That includes being completely compliant with all CRA state regulations. Our security is going to be it's an ever vigilant thing we have to stay on top of. Our staff is going to be completely trained for security and to ensure our odor control measures are completely under wraps. Now, as I had said, generally the proposed facility as I'm advocating, it's congruent with the marijuana ordinance and the zoning code. Now, I wanted to address as well what might be a sensitive subject. You might have notes on this. We are outside, and it's our position, we're outside of all sensitive use buffer zones. I can go through, we're outside of all parking lots, churches, we're outside of that minimum separation distance. Now, the one issue here is this, and just gonna address it right now. It is our position we're outside of 1,000 feet. There's a requirement in the ordinance. You have to be within you have to be over 1,000 feet of any, quote, public or private K-2 school. There's a building located 2435 Perkins Street. This is formerly known as the Haven Ridge Elementary School. Now, this school is not an active school. This school closed in 2015. As recently as 2 years ago, I believe it might have been used for EMR and police training. The area, there is a fair amount of crime in this area as well. In 2019, there was a dead body that was found in the playground. It is our position that having a commercial presence and well-paying jobs will create some security and some cohesion in the community. This school is, and I had visited this as well. I just did, just to see. The lawns are mowed, but it is, from all observances, a completely empty and disused facility. But the future land use map that was created in 2007 shows that this was a public or quasi-public land, and this school can be repurposed for other things, not school-related. There are no children that go to this school, though, and I would not be making this argument if I sincerely believed there were children going to this school. But from our observances and what we have found, this is an empty school. Now I had to look into it as well to see what kind of, I'm a lawyer, so by trade, I wanted to see what kind of legal landscape we're looking at. Now, Saginaw does not define school. It doesn't define it in any capacity. But I would simply ask that you use certain legal guide points as persuasive of why this isn't a school. There's four that I'm going to outline. The Michigan Supreme Court in case law, and I'll hand you guys this letter. It was something I provided to the city attorney. The Michigan Supreme Court has outlined that the word school means little more than an institution with educational purposes and activities. I'll hand you this letter. It has all the citations, etc. So it highlights that purposes and activities are essential to the school. I mean, children learn there on a daily basis or on any basis. Now, the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act describes schools as public or private grounds where children attend classes. And there's a rule that, that facilities can't be within 1,000 feet of pre-existing or public or private schools providing education in kindergarten or any grades 1 through 12. And it is our position that that's just not happening here. Now, the Michigan Public Code, which makes the definition of school, while prohibiting distribution of marijuana within a school zone, defines it as a building, playing field, or property used for school purposes to impart instruction to children in grades kindergarten through 12. That's the end of that relevant provision. Now, the Michigan Liquor Control Act, again, this is just persuasive. but is somewhat synonymous to the Marijuana Act. Thus defines a school as a building used for school purposes to provide instruction to children in grades kindergarten through 12. So these are simply just persuasive authorities, legal authorities, that I would ask for you to lean upon in coming to the conclusion that ultimately just requesting that our SLU be granted for this without having to go through a variance. Alternatively, after we go through, provided an SLU is approved here, as in an alternative release, we would ask that an SLU be approved contingent on a variance, but we haven't filed a variance for this matter yet. We will if required, but first I wanted to advocate this and tell you that, and argue respectfully that this is not a school and we are outside of all these buffer zones. Because of that, I appreciate your time, and I'm here to answer any questions as well regarding this. I had the two owners of this facility, or the two applicants, the owners of the applicant present, that are here to discuss this project.
You have 1 minute.
Okay, wow, I went fast. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes for your comment.
Sure, thank you very much. My name is Joey Kedgebu. My address is 2207 Orchard Lake Road, Sylvan Lake, Michigan. I'm an attorney and I'm a consultant who works with Mr. Learman. I just want to take the opportunity. I do primarily marijuana law in the state. What you have here is a kind of a situation where you've got two buildings, both of which are very large in size, both of which are in a dilapidated condition, neither of which is being maximized for any kind of use. The school has been closed for approximately 8 years. We've been in contact with the school board. We've received notices that there's no intention of having the school reopened for any kind of educational purposes anytime soon. We're talking about an 8-year lapse where this building has just sat there vacant and not used and underutilized in every facet. It's become a magnet for some criminal activity, like Mr. Learman said, and that's probably just going to worsen. That's the reality of the situation. That is the one thing that's standing right now between a special use application for a building across the street that's going to be repurposed, 80,000 square feet, invest tens of millions of dollars in this facility will be invested by the applicants. It's going to be repurposed, and one of the effects that it's going to have, and I think that commonly goes overlooked in the marijuana industry, is the camera systems that are required to be incorporated into these facilities, in addition to the lights that are incorporated into these facilities on the exterior. They're very positive. They're very, they have a huge impact on the neighboring communities and the neighboring properties. They light up the area. They have 24/7 monitoring services, monitoring cameras. They're required to record for 30 days. Police enforcement officers can come into these facilities at any time and access them if they need to access them for any kind of criminal activity. I know there's a negative stigma that's associated with marijuana, especially when we're talking about it being relatively close to a school. But for all intents and purposes, this isn't a school, and it's preventing development of the area overall. These gentlemen can become a leader in this area in terms of reinvesting in an area that hasn't seen that kind of capital infusion, that hasn't seen that kind of contribution in terms of additional jobs and things of that nature. And what could happen is this could have a trickle-down effect and maybe encourage additional prospective landowners or business owners to invest in maybe that school or additional.
You have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. Or additional properties across the street or in that area. I think overall, the negative stigma that's associated with marijuana really shouldn't be discarded because of a school that's, closed down, not being utilized, and really has no intention or purpose for being utilized in the future. That's all. I hope you all take my comments into consideration today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Staff Golan?
Yeah, I have a letter to read. This actually comes from Dr. Ramont Roberts, the superintendent of public schools, and it is actually written to Mr. Learman. It says, Dear Mr. Learman, I served as superintendent for Saginaw Public Schools, and I'm responding to your March 3rd, 2022 letter in which you request the school district's consent to permit your client to develop a cannabis cultivation facility at 2700 Perkins Street in the city of Saginaw. As you have noted, the school district owns property several hundred feet from 2700 Perkins Street, which contains a now closed elementary school. Although I can appreciate that your client wishes to bring jobs to the area, and there is not presently an operational elementary school in the school district's property, the school district will not agree to consent to your client's proposed use. The ordinance you have highlighted exists to ensure the safety of children. While the school district's property is not presently being used as a school, the facility still involves a daily student and parent present as a location for bus pickup and drop-off. In addition, we cannot disregard the possibility that the property in question may be utilized for programming again in the future. Given that possibility, and the city's implementation of the ordinance at issue, which again recognizes the potential risk cannabis operations pose to minors, the school district will not consent to a cannabis cultivation facility at this time. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Please feel free to contact me should you have any questions. Sincerely, Dr. Ramont Roberts.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on this case? Are there any other comments on this case? Please come to the podium, give us your name and address. You have 3 minutes, please.
Good evening, council members. I'm Amr Alami, one of the prospective owners for the property, one of the applicants as well. The letter from the superintendent mentions, a lot of valid points, but I just want to bring to your attention one item. Besides the fact that the school's been closed for many years, I think repurposing, to some point, I'm not going to say there's like a time limit to repurpose property, but they've had a lot of opportunity to repurpose it if they wanted to with that time frame. Even if it is repurposed, the law still allows them to repurpose it for a school, even if the facility is approved or not. And even if it is repurposed back to a school, if you visit the site, you will see that there's a very huge railroad going between the two properties that are kitty corner from each other, maybe like over 100 feet of a railroad actually crossing. So drop off or pick up, for parents or children, it's physically impossible really to pass from one property to the other without going really across the entire railroad tracks, given also that the property will be secured, fenced to begin with as well. So I just want to bring that to your attention as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Commissioners, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Public hearing is closed. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve case J22-0144, site plan review for a special use permit for an adult use recreational marijuana grower processor establishment at 2700 Perkins Street with the following conditions? The Board of Appeals on Zoning approves a waiver for the 1,000 feet separation from the former Heavenrich Elementary School. Approval by the Engineering Department. Approval of the security plan by the City of Saginaw Police Department. And successfully securing approval by the city clerk for adult use marijuana establishment license.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve this case. Are there any questions?
At this time, I'd like to offer a substitute motion to the one made in that we separate the site plan approval and the special use permit into two separate motions. In looking at the property represented, the special use permit would convey to the entire property, which is about 3 times the size of the proposed project. And I think we should look carefully because we would be approving a special use permit to the entire property, as I understand it. And the site plan approval is to the proposed project as it stands now. Now, I'm also.
Is that a motion?
Well, it's a little wordy for the motion, so the motion is to separate the question, I guess, between site plan approval and special use permit.
Is there a second?
For discussion, I guess I'll second it. I'd like to hear more.
Okay. So there is a motion to separate the site plan approval and the special use permit. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Well, we can have discussion first is what I guess would be the best thing.
Let's have discussion on that.
And the reason I want to have discussion is I'm not sure, Commissioner Milne, on the need in the sense of, maybe, Mr. Allen, you can answer, the suggestion is that there's only a smaller portion of the site that would be used for the facility versus the entire site. How could you, is that correct, or am I missing something? I mean,
So the special use permit goes for the user of the property. It isn't necessarily all encompassing, however, that's the site in which they're proposing that particular type of use. So I guess in essence, it does include all of the site, but the special use permit is for the user.
But on the proposed site that we have on our plans here, it takes up the majority of the property, and then there's a triangle area down at the bottom that it doesn't include. Is that correct? On the first page of the agenda item communication.
Yeah, I'm thinking that does not belong to that site. I want to double check that though.
You mean the area in red?
It's all listed as one
Yeah.
property
Yeah, I'm
number.
trying to, I mean, obviously parking would be part of it.
Yeah, parking part of it. That's
So-
what it
Yeah,
looks like.
that triangle is not part of that
Right,
property.
so, but the triangle is the smallest portion of the whole thing. And the other part is in the upper right-hand, I think it's the northeast corner, there's a building that doesn't seem to be part of the proposed site as well.
Oh, correct.
So what would we be approving if we approved per the actual application as it exists without dividing the motion? Will we be approving just the area in red on the first page?
Correct.
And I would note that the site plan and SUP really do go hand in hand because you're approving a site plan for a marijuana establishment. And a marijuana establishment cannot operate without special use approval. So they really are intrinsically tied together.
And I guess that's why I'm asking, some of the other plans that are attached on your AS 1.2, it looks like the area in the upper right-hand corner where there's an existing building is included. So there is some confusion on the plan itself that I'm trying to make sure I understand. It's on the fourth page, there's a diagram with all the parking.
Yeah, so if you look on the previous page though, that parcel you're referring to is not part of it.
Then how is it included as parking in the,
It's not.
okay.
That's a separate.
I guess I have another way to ask this. If these are approved together, any further development of the rest of the special use permit we're allowing would still require a separate site plan, which could be approved or disapproved on the additional empty land. That would be kind of the backstop to, you're approving a special use permit for the entire area, but to use a hypothetical, if a second growth facility was planned for this property, it would have to come back for a separate site plan approval. It would just incorporate the same special use permit that the whole property would have.
That's correct.
Okay, I can see that.
And I think I'm understanding a little bit better the map. The site plan for the building and the parking is only a portion of the area in the red.
Correct.
Correct, and part of the reason is that we have combined sanitary and stormwater in the city, and so therefore minimizing the amount of impervious surfaces on a site is going to lessen the expense of developing that property, if you follow what I'm saying.
Well, you're basically saying because there's forest on the property.
Well, that's a pervious, or it's pervious surface, so therefore, rainwater, stormwater can drain into that, so, yeah.
Mayor Moore?
And then, I'd just like to get some clarification. The building that's not in that square, if I'm not mistaken, that's a building that's owned by Community Action Center, CAC, or is that just the empty?
No, that's on the other side of the railroad track. to the
Okay, so this is the one right in back, and it's just really a lot, right? I'm looking at the diagram, the M1, and it's in a box, then it's a little bitty piece of land.
On the first,
The front, you can see it good on the front.
Yeah,
Right, this is what they're having, but this over here, they're not doing anything with that.
In fact, not with this, but it's getting approved if we do it.
But it's also parking.
No, not this. This is forest, and we'll stay forest unless they do something else.
Okay, okay.
So that's part of the issue that I believe John raised, is because half of that area in red is forest and isn't part of the redevelopment itself.
not at this time, no.
All right. But his concern seems to be, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, that by giving the approval as we've been asked to do, it's given approval to a larger area than is needed for the site plan.
Yes,
okay.
All right, so the question is, why wasn't the proposal limited to the site plan?
Because it would divide the parcel.
Pardon me?
It would divide the parcel.
yeah, and
So it's one parcel?
I did not hear anything you guys said, so can you repeat
You're
it,
saying it
please?
would divide, it would,
I believe it would divide the parcel.
maybe
Bob
we could
can
have
correct
an
me if I'm
answer
wrong.
from the,
May I speak?
Just a minute, I'm sorry. It would divide, so that is one parcel of land right now?
one parcel.
Okay.
Well, that's what I want to find out too, more about that. Because it looks like it should be more than just that red area if it's one parcel.
no, that is the parcel of land that they're purchasing.
Okay.
And just
Including the wooded area?
Yes,
But is there a reason we don't limit this to the site plan? I mean, you're suggesting it would divide the parcel. We wouldn't divide parcel. We'd only be allowing permitted area for the plan, according to the plan that they give.
I'm saying you wouldn't divide a parcel for application of the SUP.
Yes, Commissioner Anastasia.
The comment I would like to make, kind of regarding this whole discussion that's going on right now, we have not done this for any application. It's by the address for the special permit, the special use that they're applying for. So I'm kind of sitting here wondering why we're having the discussion. Thank you.
Call for the vote.
The motion on the floor is to divide the special use permit from the site plan review. All in favor? Say aye. All opposed? Say nay.
Nay.
We go back to the original motion where we are considering the approval of the site plan review and the special use permit for the establishment at 2700 Perkins Street.
So move more.
We've already
Well, we're
done,
on
we're
that.
back, we're back to that main motion.
Oh,
Are there any questions? Yes, commissioners, are there any questions?
yeah,
Do you know how close it is to that school? It says within,
Yolanda, what did you say? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to know the distance
Cool.
to the school. It's closer than 1,000 feet
Yeah, it's
separation
closer to
distance.
1,000. Normally, I use the GIS system to approximate. It's not exact, but it's definitely closer than 1,000.
Okay.
No.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Yes.
Yes. It's in very tiny print. It shows nearest point to nearest point, 304 feet.
Which page are you looking at? Right there at the bottom, in the bottom corner, AS
It's
1 dash.
the next to last page, the large red circle inside it, there's some small,
So that's AS 1.2.
yeah, AS 1.2, there you go.
Okay.
Separate question. Under supporting documentation, Mr. Golan, is that all present? There's 12 separate items that are under supporting documentation. All been made to the city?
The only thing that I'm missing from that is the layout, the interior layout of the building and the location of the cameras, which the police department would normally get that and review it anyway.
Oh, okay. But you are pleased as to having the documentation
Yes.
requested here? Okay.
Any other questions from
My
the
only
commission?
other question.
I'm sorry. Any more?
So can I ask them questions or I gotta come out of the meeting?
We have to come out of regular
I
order.
make a motion, we come out of regular session.
Support?
It's been moved and seconded to go out of the regular order of business. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
If opposed, please say nay. All right. Commissioner
Now,
Moore, ask your question.
Mr. Zach,
You may come to the podium now. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Chairperson.
I'm excited, and I just want to ask you this. I heard you say 20 to 30 jobs for possibly half of them for Saginaw residents or
As
more.
many as we can get, we'll direct, we will direct all of our job search efforts for local Saginaw clients.
So my regular question is always the same thing. I heard you say that the building, I looked at your site plans, they look good. But are you gonna put some flowers out there, you gonna decorate the yard?
We intend to beautify it, and if that's necessary, we certainly will.
I mean, it's not necessary. I just think that if it's a building and I'm looking at your final result, the final result does not look like a marijuana establishment. I just didn't see any flowers, like I said, and everything else we approved.
We'll have, I'd say so, absolutely. We're gonna have landscaping, well-kept landscaping. It will be more than presentable. It'll be top of the line. It'll be a brand-new facility.
So your neighbors are going to be CAC Community Action Center.
Correct.
Bob, this is a question for you. Did they know about the hearing? Are they okay with this?
Do you have any other questions for the appellant?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Is there a motion to go, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right.
You want to answer my question?
Your question to
We're
him.
still out of regular order of business, so we're gonna go ahead.
Did you get your answer from him?
Not for Bob. I got my
That's
answer from
different.
Mr.
Okay,
Zach, yes.
Yeah. It came up that this is a very large site, and it's about 3 times the size of your site plan.
Correct.
Does that mean you are contemplating enlarging the operation in the future?
Not presently. This is a giant facility. The land to the south that's wetland. That's forest wetland. We can't, I mean, I'm sure in theory you could build on it if you were so inclined, but I think it's very expensive and costly. We have a lot of room to work with here. Presently, there's no motivation to change that. We have 79,000 square feet is a lot for a Class C grow. Class C grows 2,000 plants. that's more than you need for a Class C grow. It's a lot more, depending on how high the ceilings are as well, you can grow vertically. But presently, the only thing we have on, we can make, correct me if I'm wrong, we have a giant warehouse, we can make do with what we have, especially in light of the fact that that giant area to the south is just forested wetland. That's where a lot of water runoff goes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ostash.
Thank you. Question and comment. I'll start out with my comment first. This is quite a few jobs which we are always looking to bring to the city of Saginaw, of course. In speaking with people that actually work in the provisioning centers that we have now in the city, this location could provide that opportunity for a walk-to-work type job.
That'd be amazing.
And that's exactly what I've had commented to me, that thank you for bringing this to our city, because I actually have medical. I'm making $18. Some are paying $24. So the question to you is, with your 30 to 35 positions that you're having, what is your, which would be your bud tender, which would be probably the lowest paying on the scale that I know of, what would that job be starting at per hour?
For a cultivation facility, it's a number of like trimmers, growers, cultivation related people, compliance officers, security personnel. You know, the job market now is so hot that it used to be a year ago, it would be like $15 to $17 an hour would be pretty in demand.
Thank you. That's the number I wanted to hear.
That is, okay.
That's the number I wanted to hear. I was hoping to hear 15 or higher, because
Yeah.
that is pretty marketable for the industry, so
I
thank you.
would have said 15 would be the number, and it might have to be a little bit to get any, you know,
Yeah.
it's so hard to find employees
Okay,
nowadays.
thanks. Thank you. Good.
Commissioners, are there any other questions for the appellant? Is there a motion to return to regular order of business?
Should I go sit down?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to return to the regular order.
Could you tell me who did that again?
I'm sorry, who said, who?
get the second? Who moved?
Mayor Moore
Second.
Commissioner Moore.
and Ostash seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to return to regular order of business. All in favor, please state your approval by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Thank you. We return to regular order of business. Commissioners, are there any further questions? I believe Commissioner Moore had a question for Staff Golan.
Okay.
You forgot your question.
The answer is all of the notices have gone out within 300 feet of this property, which would have included the CAC, and I did not receive any comment from them.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ostash.
First of all, a comment to our appellants that are here tonight. You referenced crime in the city of Saginaw, and I just want to make sure that I put on the record a correction to your statement of crime in the area. One of the maps that we use in the city when we are doing our tax assessments at the end of the year is a heat map of the city of Saginaw. I can definitely tell you that this area is pink compared to some other areas of the city that are red. So most of the east side now is not seeing the crime rates. I just want to make sure that that is on the record during our meeting. The other part that you brought up, you were stating the state statute for MARTMA, for the recreational marijuana. And you talked about schools and what an existing school is. This is kind of a comment for you and more of a question for the attorney, because when we developed our marijuana ordinance, you're right, we did say that 1,000 feet from a public or private K-12 school. I also want to state on the record what the state statute says at this point, which you were referencing. It says in the state statute that the property where the proposed marijuana establishment to be located is not within an area zoned exclusively for residential and not within 1,000 feet of a pre-existing public or private school, providing education in kindergarten and in grades 1 through 12 unless a municipality adopts an ordinance that reduces the distance. So in our case, for the city of Saginaw, we council members adopted a 1,000 feet buffer. So the question here for the attorney is, it says public or private school providing education.
That's
The state statute. So our ordinance at this point is actually not stating that. And that's the problem I'm having with right now. So from a legal perspective, it seems like to me we are overriding the state statute. We haven't really defined that within our own ordinance.
We have a ordinance, as do several other municipalities around the state, who set specific setbacks from sensitive uses, none of which are established under MRTMA.
Yeah, and the question
So
here that
MRTMA
comes,
doesn't address setbacks from churches, it doesn't address setbacks from other sensitive uses
Right.
in the same manner that are in other
Okay.
ordinances do. So the city is allowed to create its own sensitive uses and its own definitions as to what those sensitive uses are.
okay,
Saginaw is unique in the fact that it does have a lot of school property that may not be under current education, but might be part of a future bigger plan for the school district, hence why the school district has not put that to market. Then that's why we rely on the school district in making the determination as
Okay.
to its own best use and current use of that property.
okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Not a
Commissioner Clark?
question, a comment. I really don't agree that our ordinance overrides the state one or attempts to, because the state one talks about providing education,
Right,
and that
Right.
controls.
that controls.
In my opinion, this is a vacant building that we're talking about. It's not a school,
Okay,
in my opinion. And when you use common sense, when you use the logic of the law as it's written and has been cited, it's a vacant building. And the school district's intentions don't change that. It's still a vacant building.
Commissioner Moore,
I make a motion to call for the vote.
you mean call the question?
Just call the question.
Call the question.
I call.
Call the question stops debate or stops discussion.
That's what I just did. I make a motion, we end the debate, call for the vote.
Call the question. Okay. There's been a motion to call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay? Staff Golden, we call a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Dallas,
No, because of the objection of the school district.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Commissioner Milne,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yeah, yes.
Commissioner Ostash.
yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is old business, master plan status update.
I do not have anything to update you on. It's currently in a public comment period. I have received, actually though, I should say this, I've received some comments from the Council of, the Regional Planning. And they've provided some comments that I've passed on to our consultants to actually include into updating that master plan draft.
Okay. Are we getting any other feedback from the public? Any other kind of feedback from the public?
Very little.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So can we do we need to go back and do like we did when we did the surveys? Friday Night Live is coming, and at least we'd have a couple of weeks to get some input as people gather for Friday Night Live. Is that something that we might want to consider? Being out like we did, remember how we did all the Friday Night Live, if Pride will allow us to table again, and we could always use it for.
Oh, you mean this, like the surveys we did for the master plan?
Right, but then ask if people have questions or concerns, and then it would give us some more input, because we did generate a lot of surveys from there. So I guess I'm asking you the question, Bob. What do you think?
Well, that would be provided that people read it. So maybe one thing would be to inform them to go and look at and read it on the city's website.
So can we get something together I don't have a problem with doing Friday Night Live. We do Friday Night Live and hand it out and tell people to go look at it. You got some comments, this is the master plan, go on the webpage, and you can get a quick version or however, and you can actually see the master plan. And then if you have any questions, because people don't know, let's be honest, they don't know that it's out there. The only time they know it is if it affects them. And if it doesn't affect them, they don't really look, let's be honest.
So you mean like give them a sheet with a,
Yeah,
say, QR
just
code?
something like a
we did
little
before?
cheat sheet like we
With the-
had before and say, go to this webpage, please look at the master plan. We want to finalize it, but we need your input. We want to be transparent. And as long as we keep that in mind, that's being transparent.
So just a one-pager?
Yeah, I'm thinking even like a
A
postcard.
little 4x6
Yeah.
card.
Size. Yeah, absolutely.
If I may, I agree 100% that that needs to be done. The public, as a general idea, doesn't understand the idea of a master plan. So you've got to really get the idea of this is what the city hopes to use to develop itself in the future. So some kind of a synopsis of the purpose of a master plan, the fact that it's being revised, and that they have a ability to have input on it.
Yeah, that's in the forward of the master plan.
Yeah, but you're missing the point, I think, Bob. They don't look at the master plan. They need something that will steer them there, and that will pique their interest enough to say, well, I better look. And it's gotta be enough to say, this can direct the future of your city, are you interested? You know, and then if you are, here's where you go, here's how you can make comments, and here's the timeline. So it's gotta be, it's really publicity in a way that directs people to understand that they have, that this is important. And if they don't understand that, they're gonna just blow it off, or they don't even think about it. So without that kind of at least a quick synopsis of why it's important and what it is, no one's gonna pay any attention.
Is there any way we can identify the traffic that's going to that site?
I'll have to check on that.
Okay. Yeah, IT may be able to have a counter or something.
Yes, I do IT.
So do I, but I don't know if they do it for the
They
volunteer.
think they can track it. Yeah, there's ways they can track how many people are coming.
What is the medium right now, if I may ask, Bob, for people making comments? How do they actually do it?
I've gotten emails from people,
All right, so.
nothing in writing.
So it can
I
be
take
either-
that back, I did get a letter from someone.
So, but there's no format for people to say, you know, here's what I suggest in this area, here's what I suggest in that. It's just simply give us comments.
Well, yeah, that's how we set it up, is that they can
Okay.
email me, call me, write a letter.
Well, that's what I needed to know. I mean, I just,
I do know, Bob, right now too, there has a group that has met twice already at the Potter's Trutch. They're talking about what they'd like to see for that neighborhood that we tried to zone, so I will reach out to that group, and then they might have some comments, because Commissioner Clark was just mentioning like different parts of the city, so.
Any other comments from the commissioner?
My last comment. At the end of the day, it is all about being transparent. All I want is a 4x6 card. I'm not asking anybody to do it. I ain't got a problem with going out there doing it because it's good PR for the city. So, we need to get something together, and those that want to volunteer, like I said, as long as Pride will give us a table again. As long as they give us a table, it worked out fine for us last year. We were like the second table coming in. We were right next to the ice cream truck and the 50-50 raffle. So everybody stopped and talked to us. And then we walked around. So I'm just saying, I think we need to push it if we want to get to response. Because the last time, what did we have? 20-something?
25, and then
Right.
we went up to over 500.
Right, and then we went out and we did like community events, stuff in the building, and we got it. Same thing could be applicable here. We could put those little cards in our little rack and tell people, we need you to look at it. We need your input. And if people choose not to, then that's okay. But at least we've done our due diligence. and we've actually got it out in the community, so I think we need to move forward with that, because we got maybe a couple of weeks before Friday Night Live starts. It's enough people out there that if we just get the little 4x5 cards, and we can just hand them out. Okay, here, master plan. You ask the average person in the city what the master plan is, I guarantee you they don't even know. They don't even know.
Agree.
So that's just a suggestion for Spicer or for the group, the team, to come up with just a simple card, an informational card. Commissioner Clark had it right. What is the master plan and why it's important for them to take part? We don't even have to discuss it. We can just say, hey, can you just read this over? And then if you've got some interests or concerns, all the information's on the card. I'm done.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say.
Sign first.
Please also, we have to, some of us have to sign our little forms here. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned at 7:10 PM.